Fighting for freedom, liberty, and the restoration of the Constitution. The Patrick Riggins Show. Call in now at 865-243-8255. That's 243-TALK. And now your host, Patrick Riggins.
This is the Patrick Riggins Show. Listening to a little Diana Ross there. Yes, someday we will be together. We will be together. Sometimes it just takes patience, but someday we will pull together as a country and kick these closet socialists out of office. To be honest, though, a lot of them aren't in the closet. They're out-and-out socialists, man, fascists. All you have to do is look at their actions. They'll betray the words of a politician every time. Now, before we get started in this segment of the show, and we got a couple of callers we'll try to get to here, I want to take a minute and real quick talk about something that's near and dear to me, and that's charities. Now, this time of year, we start hearing a lot of them advertising on the radio and TV, and they'll be sending us stuff in the mail, all in an effort to remind you during this holiday season about those less fortunate than you, and also to make you feel a little bad about having so much, so you'll be sure and send something to the charity to make yourself feel maybe a little less guilty. I would argue if that is why you're sending a donation, though, then don't do it. You aren't giving with the right attitude and heart. But if you are giving money or any type of donation because you truly want to help people, then by all means get to it. Private charities do things so much more efficiently than government. And if we can get government out of the charity business, we'll be that much closer to how this government is country is meant to be run. Back to these charities, though. When you select one, smacking the microphone there. Yeah.
There's a mic in front of your face.
Yeah, it's the end of the year. I can do that. Anyway, when you select one or two or, maybe a few to which you'd like to give a donation, here's a little quick hint to make sure they are going to use your money wisely. What you want to do is go to one of the charity rating sites on the internet, or you can call the charity itself and ask them for a copy of their IRS Form 990. Now, that is a form most nonprofits have to file with the IRS, telling about their operations and what they are doing and how much they are taking in donations each year. So when you get this form, and you can find it, as I said, on the internet, or nonprofits have to give you a copy if you request it, you want to go and look at pages 7 and 8. Now, this is Roman numeral 7 of the form. If you are in a public school and you aren't familiar with Roman numeral 7, it's a V with 2 I's after it. But just look for pages 7 and 8. Now, this part is entitled Compensation of Officers, Directors, Trustees, Key Employees, Highest Compensated Employees, and Independent Contractors. Now, if you'll look down this form and note how much money is being paid to the executive director and any other staff members listed, you can find out how much salary this person is receiving working for that nonprofit. Looking at this, and keep in mind the mean income, meaning the average, per person in Knox County is around $35,500. And if you want, you can even take the median income. That's the income level where there are just as many people above that number making this money as below it. That number is around $45,400. So if you're looking at a charity and its staff are being paid huge amounts of money as compared to those numbers, and quite a few of them are, then you might want to look around and put your money into another charity. You see, in the private sector, you should make as much money as you can. You should bargain and get the best deal for yourself when negotiating your salary. But when you take a job in the nonprofit sector, the unspoken agreement is you aren't going to get paid as well as you could in the private sector. The idea being the more money you make, the more money you take away from the people who you are supposed to be trying to help. At least that's how it used to be if you took a job working for a charity. You weren't there to see how much you could make. You were there to see how much you could help. The salary was pretty much a secondary consideration. But increasingly, and you'll see this if you look over a few nonprofits Form 990, the goal seems to be getting as much money for yourself as you can. The mission for the charity becomes the secondary consideration behind your salary. This also used to be the unspoken deal, to relate this back to the show, when you went into a government job. It didn't pay as well as a private sector job because it was public service. You were there because you wanted to help the public, to help serve them. That was the primary consideration. Again, the secondary consideration was your salary. But today, now the goal seems to be is to get as high a salary as you can. And who cares if you're squandering the taxpayers' money? Their primary consideration now is their salary, and helping the public just falls way down that ladder. The problem is I've described on this show over and over, and I mentioned it in the first segment, there's too much money sloshing around in government. The rewards are too high, and the accountability is too low. It is too easy to rip off the taxpayer and get away with it because the government is too big. Where do you think all this lost money goes in government? All those stories about how a few million here or a few million there, that can't find it. They don't know where it went. Well, personally, I have a sneaking suspicion it's in someone's Swiss bank account or Cayman Islands account. And you may ask, why would someone do that? Steal money from the taxpayer? Well, because they can. That's why. If you have a few $1,000,000 sitting in a room, and if you put it in your anonymous account, and no one is going to find out, and furthermore, no one is really going to care, how hard would it be to resist doing it? Only someone thoroughly grounded in their principles is going to be able to resist that temptation. And there aren't a whole lot of those type of people serving in our government positions. But anyway, getting back to giving to charities, get to this real quick. I used to have a show on this radio station where we highlighted various small charities that didn't get a lot of publicity on their own. Either too small, or the people are too busy, or they didn't have a budget to buy commercials or send out fundraising letters. These are the type of charities I would encourage you to give to this holiday season. The big guys have enough money. The little guys sure could use your help, though. And if you can't afford to give money, then give a little of your time. The people you meet and the feeling you get from actually having made a difference in someone's life is immeasurable. Plus, you'll have a lot of fun in the process. So this holiday season, especially coming up on the end of the year when you might be looking to make some charitable donations, be sure and check that IRS Form 990 and do a little research before sending your money. Again, if you want a copy of that, you can call the charity and have them fax it, and a lot of them can email it to you now. Or you can find them on the web. If they're a little hesitant to send you a copy of that, then that should kind of be a red flag right there. But when you do that, you'll be making sure every dollar you send is used in the best way possible. I feel pretty strongly about some of these organizations paying their staffs huge sums of money when it could be better spent helping the people they are supposed to be helping. You know, the donors don't send in money so the staff can party and pay themselves a nice salary. The donors send that money in to further the mission of the charity. So that's what it should be doing. Again, I apologize. We've run up on the break here, but that's just something that's kind of dear to my heart about as far as private charities and really investigating to be sure they're using the money in the way that they should be. We're up on the last break. This is Patrick Riggins with the Patrick Riggins Show. We'll jump through this break and get back and get to two more things before we end the show. We'll see you in a little bit.